I'm worried that Trump is on the edge of creating a civil war. I believe that what we are experiencing feels like a coup d'etat, one that, if not stopped, threatens the very fabric of our democracy. Trump has undermined our constitutional freedom of the press, freedom of speech, the process, and an independent judiciary.
Maxine, you funneled over $1 million in campaign funds to your daughter. Is that why you're worried about Doge?
Get your ass away, young man.
I wouldn't touch her. I'll press charges. But I'm just, I feel like that's a pretty fair question. Why are you so worried about Doge? You pushing me. Why are you so worried about Doge? You're pushing me.
Asshole.
So what? You don't want to...
So I saw on the news that Maxine Waters got hit with a $68,000 fine for campaign finance violation. But to be honest, that's not the whole story. That's not the full story. That's just the surface cracks. Because when you look underneath the headlines, you realize this wasn't a one-time slip up. This is a part of a big, giant pattern. Decades of a political veteran who has been swimming in the dirty campaign water so long, she forgot it was even swampy. So here's the situation. The stakes are massive here. So when elected officials bend the rules, constantly bend the rules and barely get a slap on the wrist, it sends what I call a dangerous message. It tells every single up-and-coming politician that the law is flexible if you got some power, you got some seniority. That money can move quietly in the shadows and the consequences don't always follow. So we're not just talking about one politician cutting corners, we're talking about a blueprint for corruption. If we ignore it, we risk letting the entire system rot from the inside out. So let's talk about how this went down, what she's done before, and why this fine, this $68,000 fine, feels like grounding a bank robber for jaywalking. Let's get into it. So Maxine Waters is a Democrat U.S. representative for California's 43rd Congressional District. Her current role is the senior member of the House Financial Services Committee, which is hilarious. And she has been in office 1,000 years, but I guess more accurately, she was first elected to Congress in 1990. She has spent 34 years in this office. Before Congress, she served 14 years in the California State Assembly, back from 1976 to 1990, meaning this woman, Maxine Waters, has been in elective office for over 48 years straight. She's been there a long time, longer than I have been alive. So there's been a lot of issues with her and the amount of money that she gets, her campaign contributions. There's been a lot of shakiness, but let's just go back a few years. In 2020, Maxine Waters' campaign, Citizens for Waters, pulled in some serious cash, but the FEC found some ugly truths hiding in the books. $19,000 in excessive contributions from individual donors, $7,000 in illegal cash payments to campaign workers. Federal law caps it at $100 in cash per person. Also, hundreds of thousands of dollars misreported on both incoming and outgoing funds. This is a campaign running its books like a back alley poker game. There's no chips, no rules, just a wink and a nod. A lot of shadiness.
A watchdog group files 2 complaints over Maxine Waters' fundraising activities.
We filed a complaint with the Federal Election Commission alleging that Maxine Waters and her campaign committee violated the Federal Election Campaign Act by accepting a $35,000 payment for her so-called slate mailer from the campaign of then-candidate Kamala Harris in 2006.
A slate mailer? What is it?
Yes, she puts out these slate mailers. They're rare outside of California. She is the only member of Congress who uses this device, and she gets away with it because she sought and received an advisory opinion from the FEC back in 2004 and sort of carved out a loophole, but we believe that she's exploited. It has her picture on it. It's basically a slate of her personal endorsements. But what's interesting about it is that she charges other candidates to be on it. And because of this loophole that the FEC allows, they're able to make payments to her in excess of campaign contributions under the Federal Election Campaign.
Also, the problem with Maxine Waters is that she has some family ties and she likes to spread the money around. One of the most talked about issues is her use of campaign funds to pay her daughter, Karen Waters. Since 2004, her daughter has reportedly earned over $1 million over managing slate mailers during elections. That's not just public service. That's basically generational wealth passed down through glossy flyers. Why would someone get paid that much money for mailers? Critics argue that these payments lack transparency and raise questions about nepotism and self-dealing. But nepotism is a part of the game. Everyone is doing it, whatever. Is this money actually going to the right people, or is it just a family-run laundromat for political cash? Because that's what people think her campaign office is turned into. So let's talk about the FEC violations. The most recent FEC fine was $68,000 for misreporting finances, taking excessive donations, and the illegal cash disbursements only adds to that pattern. So Maxine Waters is doing some funny stuff with the money, clearly. And she has a long track record of this for decades. So while Maxine Waters may not be the official ranked the worst offender on campaign watchdog scorecards, her practices have earned her low trust scores among some ethic watchdogs and government transparency advocates. Groups like Open Secrets, Foundation for Accountability and Civics Trust, also the National Legal and Policy Center, have spotlighted her for years for conflict of interest and questionable spending practices. She has been this big giant target on everyone's radar, too big to ignore and always circling back into view. So let's be real, campaign violations happen, but hear why this is different. She's not new. She's served the Congress since 1991. That's probably longer than most of your kids and most of your grandchildren have been alive. At this level, you know the rules. She has been through the FEC training, the legal briefings, election cycles. You talk to lawyers, but yet here we are. And the excuse is just wild. Her excuse, or her campaign excuse, was, we were short-staffed because of COVID. It's like a pilot crashing the plane and then blaming it on the cloudy skies. Hey, you're still flying the plane. You're still responsible for every passenger on board. That's not a good excuse for what you're doing, especially, come on, COVID. Get out of here. But let's talk about the situation with her daughter, because it does feel systemic. It's not a mistake. So between 2021 and 2022, Waters' campaign paid her daughter over $192,000 for something called slate mailers. That's basically printing out flyers endorsing other candidates and then charging them to be featured. Is it legal? Technically, yes. Is it shady? I believe so. And this is not new either. Like I said, her daughter has reportedly pulled over $1 million in Maxine's campaign over the last 20 years. So basically, this is just keeping it in the family, the Waters edition. So why did the FEC only fine her $68,000? That's it? This is a career politician who broke campaign law multiple times, and the punishment is basically some lunch money for her? If you or I misreport a few bucks to IRS, we get hit with interest, penalties, and maybe even an audit. But when you are a career congresswoman pulling in six figures and breaking federal laws, all you get is a slap on the wrist. So this is bigger than just Maxine. This is about accountability, because what this says to every politician, every up and coming rep, it says if you're powerful enough, and if you've been around long enough, like 1,000 years, you can bend the rules and you could probably even break them. It's like letting a cop speed through red lights off duty and then wondering why everyone else is starting to do it too. And while we're focusing on her fine, how many other violations are probably flying under the radar? What else did the campaign underreport? Where else did the money go? Maxine Waters walked away from this with barely a scratch. She's been doing this for a very long time. She keeps getting reelected. The people that she represents don't care. And that's unfortunate, because I think trust, again, is something that's really powerful, and it damages when you do stuff like this. You can't scream about accountability while your own campaign looks like a cash funnel to your friends and family. This is a seasoned veteran who played the game and got caught holding the bag again and again and again, and the system just gave her a slap on the wrist. But the voters, we got the real power to give her something more stronger next election. But let's be honest, most likely she'll just get reelected. How old is Maxine Waters actually? Maybe it's time to stop recycling politicians who treat campaign finance like it's their own personal piggy bank. But that's just me. What do I know? What do you guys think about this story and what's going on with Maxine Waters? Put in the comments below. Also, if you're interested in this type of content and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Also, if you want to support my channel even further, check out the Patreon and also subscribe to my email newsletter. On that note, thank you very much for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.